Minister, thanks very much for being with us. Morning to you.
Good morning.
Quite a few things to get through today, so let me crack straight on. We'll start with the doctors' strike. Just how angry is the government at the BMA for their decision to continue with their action?
The government has listened to junior doctors. We've put an offer on the table that includes new training places. It's on top of a 30% increase in pay that's happened. So, we are really asking junior doctors to reject this strike, to come back to work. There's huge pressure on the NHS, and we need junior doctors to be supporting us to deal with that.
To just go around the BMA leadership and just not listen to what they're being told by their leaders?
Well, we have listened, and we have putting more support in place, more training in place, and these are some of the things that the junior doctors have asked for, and we are appealing directly to junior doctors to support the NHS over Christmas, because we don't want people's operations to be cancelled. We know the pressure that the NHS is under, and it's so important that we are supporting patients at this time, and we're deeply grateful for the NHS staff who work so hard every single day.
All of them. I mean, we've got a huge rise in flu cases. The thing is about this plan for new places. I mean, we've known there's been a lack of places for doctors for a long time. It feels like a negotiating strategy. You've waited, the government have waited until this point, until we're right before Christmas, right in the midst of this flu pandemic, to offer this little sop to them. Why didn't you do it earlier? Because you're as much to blame for it getting this crisis point as they are.
So since we've come into power, we've invested in pay for junior doctors, and we continue to listen, and that's why we've put an extra offer on the table to create those training places. And I think it's right.
Done it sooner, though.
I think it's right that we are listening, that we are in those conversations, and that we're acting on what people say.
Still think you could have done it sooner, but we'll move on to your area of expertise and this £3 billion for special educational needs. I don't know if you heard our education correspondent Andrew Pierbakos just earlier with some quite specific questions about all of this. Why don't you tell us about the idea, £3 billion, and why it's needed? Yeah,
I'm really excited about this £3 billion. It's going to be going into communities around the country to support children with special educational needs. So it might be a new building, it might be adapting a classroom, or making a school more accessible for disabled pupils. And, it will be transformative. I was at a school on Tuesday where 30 children were in a new purpose-built space, and their parents were telling me the difference it had made for their children. These were children who were out of school, who were struggling to learn, and they were thriving. They said they'd made more progress in a month than they had in years before. And one mum said that her child was in the nativity play that she could never have imagined. So, it makes a real difference. I've seen it. I've seen so many different examples of this, and we want that for children across the country.
It's not a nothing amount of money. £3 billion is significant. So where's the money going to go? Is it going to schools directly, or is it going to local government?
It's going to go to local government. We're going to be setting out the full allocation in the new year, and we're going to be asking local government to make sure that we are really prioritising places for children with special educational needs to get into the right place for them as quickly as possible.
So prioritising, will it be protected?
Oh yeah, so it's protected. This is for this purpose.
So local government can't then use this money for other things that they might want.
This money is for places for children with special educational needs, and this money we expect to support 50,000 children to get a place. So it will transform the outcomes for those children.
So are you going to be looking as well, because you've got a white paper coming, haven't you?
Yes.
When is that coming?
It's coming early in the new year.
Early in the new year.
We're in the middle of a co-creation with families. Well, I'm out every day talking to families, and we've been really clear that even before the formal consultation, we want to hear from parents, from young people, many of whom tell me how they've been badly let down by the system, and their voices have to shape this. So we're in the middle of this. We've got, in the new year, I'm be travelling to Darlington, Leeds, around the country. So, we want to do this as quickly as possible. There's a real urgency for change, but we want to do it in a way that brings the voices of families. So, we'll take the time to do that.
So in those conversations, you will have heard about education health care plans and the concerns that some parents have around the bureaucracy of those. Are you going to make them easier to be accessed?
So I hear from parents all the time that how many years it takes for them to get support. As I spoke to a parent on Wednesday who had spent £30,000 trying to get support for their child, and she really believed that her child could have been educated well within a mainstream school, but that support had not been put in place. And 6 years later, they'd reached crisis points. So, parents do talk about the bureaucracy, but they also talk about the importance of having legal protections, of having accountability in the system. So those are the voices we're listening to, and we're going to be setting out the full plans in the new year.
You're going to reduce the bureaucracy. You're going to make it easier for the parents to get to. The parents should not be spending 30 grand to get their kids as.
Oh yeah, I can absolutely say that we are going to make support in place much earlier. We want to respond to the needs of children as soon as they kind of express themselves and put that support in place. And that's why we're putting this £3 billion in today, because we want more support available in mainstream schools. And one of the real positives of when there is a specialist space next to a mainstream school is that the kind of expertise of the teachers within that space, spreads to the whole school, and you create, so much more support for children within mainstream lessons. So this is all about putting more support in earlier.
We're going to be talking about anxiety in schools later on this morning. What are the government doing to reduce anxiety? I mean, the numbers are stark. Half of pupils say they've skipped out of school because they feel anxious.
Yeah, this is something I hear a lot. I was, talking to a young person just the other day who'd been out of school because of anxiety. And the school, in one of these specialist spaces, had kind of brought them in and worked with them one-to-one, and they were slowly moving their way back into lessons. So anxiety is a massive issue. We're investing in mental health teams to sit in schools.
Extra $3 billion.
Yeah, the $3 billion is to go into space.
Yeah.
So we're investing in mental health support, which is really critical, and we want to build support around families. And I've seen really brilliant practice in schools where schools are, with breakfast clubs that we're investing in primary schools. Schools are using that space in the morning to have a really fun moment, that children get breakfast, have fun with their friends, and then come into school. Again, I was at a school on Wednesday where they put on extracurricular activities that children loved, and a young woman said to me, "This is the best part of my day, and it's a deal with the school. Because of this, I come in for the other lessons." So there's great practice we can learn from.
It's because you're going to schools and you're seeing firsthand how it's actually playing out.
It's the absolute best part of my job. Yeah.
A couple more things, a couple of different topics, kind of connected. We don't have loads of time, so I'm going to get through them as quick as possible. Donald Trump, in the past week or so, has talked about civilizational erasure in Europe. Is the president right? Is Europe facing a crisis of civilization?
So I think the president says a lot of different things. I'm not going to comment on all of them, but I think that I'm very proud of the UK, of Europe, of our diverse, strong society, and I'm proud to be a minister in the UK government.
Why would he be attacking Europe's civilizational structure? He talks about migration tearing Europe apart. I mean, you don't agree with that, do you?
So we're really clear that migration has been something that has benefited our country over generations, but we do want to see control over our borders. It's right that we see that control. That's what people would expect, and we're making changes to deliver that. But I am so proud to live in a diverse country and a diverse constituency.
Okay. We heard yesterday that there were going to be 25 more people put into the House of Lords. Your leader once talked about abolishing it. What's going on? Why are you adding more in?
It's right that the House of Lords kind of reflects the House of Commons and Parliament, but we are continuing to reform the House of Lords. We've abolished hereditary peers, and we will be bringing forward reforms in the future.
So you are still thinking about abolishing the body?
We're still committed to House of Lords reform, and we've taken the first step.
By getting rid of hereditary peers, but
that is an important step, and it's been a very difficult one, and something that we push forward. So we're still committed to reform.
Minister, I'm being shouted at in my ear, so I'm going to stop talking to you.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.